Alright, so, as usual, this is one of those regretful things about enjoying the decline that I've got to report to all you guys. And it was a news story that came out about a study done on incels. Now, I made sure it was on Revolver. It's still there. And what it's about is that these researchers found that when they looked into incels and they got into the methodology and everything, the Revolver article, which was some other person's article that they reposted, and I gotta admit, as usual, Revolver did a good job of finding a very good breakdown of the findings and what this is going to. I read it and then I was like, wait a second, I've got to let this gestate for a moment. Because one, I was waiting to see the 48-hour rule about stuff like that. Will there be more reporting coming out talking about, in 48 hours, talking about like it's even worse than you thought, or clarifying it in a way that it's even worse than you're thinking, which happens a lot now, It's kind of funny. It's like if it's a W for the right or an L for the left, it's usually going to pan out to get worse. If it is something where it's like an L for Trump, that in 48 hours it ends up being like, bro's glad, there's nothing to it, everything's cool, like these people don't got shit. But this is not good for mostly the Democratic Party. 50% of incels in this study are not white. So that means incels are ethnic minorities at half the rate. And these are the people who went out of their way to find this accurately. So that means, and they discuss their method by finding out the accuracy of this. It's not a bad study. What this means, though, is that this online community of men who are, they don't get physically touched. They statistically will not be physically touched by a female during their adult life. That's the stat so far that we actually have good data on. These guys are a very large number of men that are growing. And on top of it, a large portion of these men are of ethnic minority groups. Now, the only thing that really I could say as far as like, okay, so the ramifications, what do we already see that taking then this information, we could say, okay, so what are we looking at coming up to an election season? Well, as most of the black YouTubers know, that there's a massive change in the attitude of a lot of black men toward liberalism, the Democrats, religion. A lot of these guys, they're not going to take a lead pill. And they're from a group that's naturally kind of angry. So what are they going to do? They're going to live just to spite the enemy. And who do they see as the enemy? The women of their actual ethnic group. This is one of these things that, as time went on, when I started to realize, like, why are especially, it was these manosphere Protestants were the ones who kept taking the reins and being like, yo, boyos, you need to hold your horses. You guys are talking like crazy people. And it was the Protestants who kept being like, guys, it's America, be cool, have fun, why don't you calm down, hold your horses. What are you Catholics planning to do? Have a revolution and establish a king? Shut up, hold your horses, calm down. Well, now it's too late. With this study, it's starting to show that what we were all kind of hoping wouldn't happen in the world of men online is now inevitable. That there is now a growing group of men that these guys are black-pilled, and there's no white pills. There's nothing. They have nothing. They have nothing at all to look forward to except the lamentation of the women. I'm like rolling this over in my mind in different ways to kind of capture it for myself. That's the only thing that's going to assuage their anger, is when they know that they're voting in a way that actually hurts women, that makes women cry. That's how they will know they personally are winning. There's nothing we could do about this. We tried to talk reason to people. We tried. And now a lot of people are going to feel the fucking wrath. And there's nothing, I can't even giggle about it. There's nothing I can do about it. I don't even know, there's no like forum you could go to and be like, guys, come on, don't repeal the 19th. You know, like, these are people that now repeal the 19th is how they're rolling. And this is going to be fascinating. And there is no one who wants to talk about this in any way that's like a serious, sober discussion, and only making it all the more inevitable and kind of like, well, you had the chance. You had the chance.